everybody. This is Yasmin from Dubai presenting the Sync session assignment for Module 4. The question for Sync session assignment was to describe an IT environment in which Hyper-V is more suitable than VMware vSphere for virtualization software, or describe an IT environment in which VMware vSphere is more suitable than Hyper-V. As for Simpson, the two major players dominating the virtualization market are Hyper-V and VMware. Both provide virtualization platform on which you can build IT infrastructure of any level of complexity. And VMware vSphere comes with a suite of products called ESXi Hypervisor, vSphere Client, VMware Workstation, vCenter, and others. But before considering the product for virtualization, we need to consider the criteria for selection, which is the management tools, storage, guest operating systems, how snapshot technology works for both, how changes are tracked, how memory is managed, the workload migration, and scalability and security. Coming to management tools, we all know that VMware has vCenter as a tool and Hyper-V has SCVMM. Both these tools are equally good for centralized data management, and it allows to view and control all ESXi hosts and clusters from a single console, thus reducing the burden of management. SCVMM also allows you to create, control, and delete VMs. The tool manages the processes occurring in the VMs by providing access to necessary hardware resources such as memory, drivers, storage, and others. So if the IT environment has majority of Microsoft servers, it is recommended to go for SCVMM. In terms of storage, VMware uses VMFS, which is Virtual Machine File System, a clustered file system used for storage, virtualization of data contained in a virtualization environment. Hyper-V uses Resilient File System. With it also has block cloning and sparse VDL features, which makes the VMs considerably accelerated in terms of their operations. When it comes to clustering, Hyper-V doesn't provide the same level of flexibility. Even though Hyper-V includes clustered shared volume, the use of this functionality is much more complex than the one in VMware VMFS. Guest operating system. VMware Tool Services enables communications between hosts and the guest operating systems. VMware device drivers provide a set of drivers for installation which can enhance mouse operations, networking performance, and quality of sound and graphics. Hyper-V also provides opportunity to install Microsoft integration services, which helps in performing various tasks and solving recurring issues. There is also an application of Hyper-V integration services called SQL Server Integration Services, which enables data integration and workflow optimization. It has been found that Hyper-V products suffers from missing or poor quality support for service templates and remote FX features. In terms of snapshot technology, VMware uses snapshots and Hyper-V uses checkpoints. So if a VM fails or a disaster strikes a production site, the VM can be recovered to the original state with the help of the saved snapshot. The differences between snapshot and checkpoints are provided here in terms of the number of snapshots supported, in terms of where the files are stored, how the change blocks are identified, and whether running snapshots in production is available or not. Change tracking and memory management. Change block tracking of vSphere is based on incremental backup technology that lets to identify block level changes occurred in the system. So it speeds up the backup process and makes it more efficient. Hyper-V's resilient change tracking functions the same way as CBT. However, this is available only from Windows Server 2016 and it's not supported for lower versions. VMware uses a lot more memory management techniques when compared to Hyper-V, like memory compression, which is enabled by default, guest ballooning, which extracts unused memory from other VMs and redistributes to ones that lack RAM, transparent page sharing, and oversubscription or overcommit. But Hyper-V supports only dynamic memory, which functions same as VMware's oversubscription. So in IT environments with memory-intensive applications and dynamic memory requirements, it is recommended to use vSphere. In terms of workload migration, the VMware vMotion and Hyper-V's live migration enable seamless migration of workloads between servers in almost real time. Workload migration doesn't interfere with the processes within the virtual environment, and hence there is zero downtime. VMware vSphere also has distributed resource scheduler where migrations can be scheduled, which allows for automatic workload migrations. But the implementation of live migration is much more complex than that of vMotion. Before performing the workload migration, you need to set up the Microsoft failover clustering on all physical hosts that will participate in the process and adjust network settings to ensure that seamless data is transferred. In terms of scalability, we can see the differences between Hyper-V and VMware vSphere. Scalability in terms of number of CPUs, RAM, for host, for VMs, as well as for cluster is provided here. Based on the individual IT requirements, we can choose the appropriate virtualization platform. In terms of security and licensing, both provide highly secure environments with encryption and other secure services. But as we know, Microsoft products require regular security updates, which can be an overhead in terms of management. In case of hypervisors, the license cost depends mainly on the operating system environment as well as the total processes managed. While licensing fees of Hyper-V are considerably less than vSphere, organizations might have to pay more based on their OS goals as well as processing. On the other hand, there are additional expenses related to vSphere for multi-site usage, support, and so on. VMware ESXi is licensed per CPU, whereas Hyper-V is licensed per core. VMware's core hypervisor is less expensive than Microsoft's. However, Microsoft's management server costs less than VMware vCenter server. It's the guest operating system licenses that ultimately determine which platform is less expensive. A Windows Server 2016 Data Center Edition license entitles Hyper-V host to run unlimited number of Windows Server virtual machines. Hyper-V is generally a less expensive option for organizations that need to run on the Windows virtual machines. So both Hyper-V and VMware provide equally powerful virtualization solutions for enterprise data centers. Organizations will have to look at the key areas mentioned before taking a decision to choose any of the solutions. Hyper-V is better at supporting the hybrid cloud environment simply because it is cheaper and more accessible by third-party users and the public. However, frequent OS and security updates translate into more overhead. VMware is popular where we have diverse operating systems in an IT organization. It supports more number of operating systems than Hyper-V. That comes to the end of my presentation. These are my references. Thank you.